Okay, sorry, a minute late here. Double checking that we all go live. Yeah, okay. Fireside chat number 277. So, couple of things. Number one, just sort of an apology. We've had people on leaves of absence, and kind of some stuff going on. So unfortunately, I feel like we've been a little bit Mia as far as just the clan command structure. So I did want to apologize for that. I think it may potentially delay. I know I kind of given a rough guess of March 1st with some warnings that might move back for the platoon changes. We'll see if that still actually rolls out. I think for the time being, I'm probably just going to say we're going to move that a month back. So we'll probably look to have everything in place to be able to make the change by March 1st. And then um, we'll see potentially what exactly we do. It would be kind of cool to do, I forget if it's March 15th, I think. That would be the 6th year anniversary of the start of the Viking era, I know, which would be kind of fun. But just kind of random. Actually, yeah. So maybe we'll think about that just roughly, without any promises. But that said, yeah, that's kind of the main focus. Still, is we are trying to get everyone platoon certified. So there's still a ton of work to be done in that department. So if you are any kind of officer, chief petty officer, or higher, chances are we'd like to get you platoon certified. So please talk to myself or an Arian right now. Actually, need to get Kusiag certified so that he can then certify other people. And we will get working on that. It's pretty quick. It's not an involved process. Primarily, we just want to show you how to do the stuff that you'll have to do if you're running a platoon. Um, Mainly writing a sit rep, being able to review your roster, so like using the stat bot and such to like check if the people in your platoon are active, how active they are, and a couple other bot things. One of them, just two other bot commands. One of them is being able to promote people using a bot rather than having to use the Discord like manage roles function, which if you are a Master Chief Petty Officer or below, you are not able to do. So we have created a workaround effectively with a bot where you can just do it through a bot command. And finally, it is or the other command is it's called a role info, I think, /role, something like that. I have to double check. It's in the officer manual. You can check that out. It's linked in About WA. On the platoon leadership section of the manual specifically is what we're talking about. There's a command that lets you check or list all the people who have a role. So really useful for something like a game role. I mean, you could list everyone as house role or something, but that's going to be a ton of people. So most useful for checking the number, all the people who play a game. It's going to be useful for running a platoon because it's good to know who's playing the game that you are in charge of, basically. So just kind of going through with you, being able to do all that stuff. That's all that you're asked to do as a platoon leader. And that's what's required for the certification. So generally speaking, you'll just hop in voice with me or an Arian or whoever, and we'll basically just go through that and, make sure that you know how to do that stuff so that you can do it when or if you have to, if you're running a platoon, which is the hope. So one thing I'll probably roll out pretty soon is the platoon roles. And I don't know that we're going to give those to anybody. We might, but for now, they're just going to be not a placeholder exactly, but not set in stone, basically, because what we're going to want to do is eventually everyone in WA is going to be in a platoon, and all that will really mean is that will tell you what platoon you put in your roll call, and it will give you an idea, or rather, it will tell clan leadership who is kind of in charge of basically helping you. I mean, keeping an eye on you for promotions, reminding you about roll call, that kind of stuff. Because really, that's something that I think we really need is just more kind of mid-level leaders kind of encouraging and assisting the lowest ranked members and new members. And that's something that we kind of don't really have. I mean, we have a component of it in that we run events and we have activity in that way. And that will kind of encourage, that will kind of help in some respects, because then new members that go to those events and that play the games and interact with people are then going to stick around more, and they kind of have that route, but there's not really anyone through the regular chain of command at WA reaching out to them about roll call or things like that. They're really kind of just left on an island for the most part, unless the recruiter happens to be doing that for them or what have you. So that's a big reason for these changes, and I hope that they don't seem radical to anybody, because they are not really huge. It's mostly, like I said, just kind of empowering that mid-level of chain of command to be able to do more stuff and to try to interact more with the lower ranked members and kind of help them out. So that's really what the goal is. I mean, for the average member, the only change this will mean is, yeah, you'll have a role for what platoon you're in, and that will mean that's what you put in your roll call. And probably what we're going to do, rather than having a really complicated transfer system, I think what we'll probably do is there's a help channel under welcome at the top of the server. And I think what we'll probably do is I might add like a transfer box, like request box, but the main thing that we'll probably do is use the support ticket system to request transfers. So basically, you just click open ticket, and that will open up a chat with all the COs, and probably, we'll see, but probably we'll add platoon leaders to that potentially. Just because obviously they would want to know about transfers. So that's probably something that we will do. Actually, I think maybe what we'll do... Yeah, so what we've done recently is we tied the promotion and demotion things into the junior mod role. So we'll see how exactly this works. We might have to fiddle with this a little bit, but probably the goal would be to make sure that platoon leaders can promote and demote people and have access to the support ticket system as moderators, basically, so that if somebody opens a ticket to say, hey, I want to switch platoons, then they can do that. And I mean, everybody will be free to do that. I don't imagine we'll be denying a lot of transfers, because the goal here is really to get people in a platoon that is the best fit for them. So obviously they should have some say in that. Yeah. So that's going to be the main thing. And again, we're going to have, probably it will just be called the auxiliary platoon, which will kind of be like a one-size-fits-all platoon. And I mean, there is the risk that we'll have too many people in that, which I'd really like to avoid. So we'll kind of see how that goes, maybe kind of play it by ear and see if that's something that happens or not. But yeah, I think to combat that a little bit, I think the restrictions as far as who can be in a platoon are, again, not going to be super strict. So, for example, let's say you don't really play a game on the same platform as the other people in a platoon who play that game, or maybe you don't even play it, but you hang out with them a lot. It would probably make sense to have you in that platoon, because that's kind of, those are your people, basically. So I don't think that we would necessarily say, oh, you don't play the same game as them, or you don't play it on the same platform, so that means that you're not allowed here. That said, we don't want to go too far in the other direction and wind up with a platoon that's like, oh, we're the StarCraft, League of Legends, and a little bit of RuneScape platoon. We don't want to do that, because that really dilutes the half of the purpose of this. So, because the goal of these is basically just to be units of organization. So it's sort of like, you kind of have your I don't want to call it a chaperone, but your person who's leading the platoon is looking after those people. So, yeah, we don't really want it to turn into just like a club or something like that. Like, oh, these are the people that you think are cool, or something like that. It should more be based around games. That's really what we're trying to do. And that really helps, as far as then platoon leaders can organize events and such on that game and really focus on that, and not have to think about, like, okay, we also do a bit of this. We don't want it also to be where somebody is like, okay, I play League of Legends, which platoon should I be in? And we're going to be like, well, there's 3 different platoons that play that. We did have that in the past with warbands, and I think that was always confusing. And I think it got by in some respects because we did kind of have that click like thing where you had the the warband specific channels that people would gain access to. So then it's kind of like, okay, you're in the cool kids club now, so you can kind of join that, and therefore, what games you played didn't actually really matter that much. I mean, to some degree they did, but not much. So, long story short, that's some of my thinking on platoons, and that's kind of the rollout that we're going to be looking at doing ASAP. Starting with, let's get people certified. We're also going to be looking at officer training too, so my apologies. There's a lot of chief petty officers and master chief petty officers that are either not in officer training but should be, or are in officer training but it's stalled out. I want to basically go through every single person in that category and basically make sure that they are on the right track, if at all possible, with that. So we're going to try to do that. That's going to be the next 2 days, right around with the officer meeting, which is this Saturday. So do be there at the Command Center of Voice Chat, 2:30 p.m. this Saturday. And this Saturday is also the feast of St. Blitzkrieg the Stalwart, which will be fun. Usual February 1st, so end of the month, roll call is out. Make sure you post in that sometime this month, but sooner the better before you forget, easier. And finally, I wanted to address the story that was promised for Alpha Blot. I know that's horribly long overdue. Unfortunately, just stuff has come up. I have actually written quite a bit of it, but I've had a little bit of writer's block and been working on other things, but it does exist. It has been worked on. It will be finished. I don't want to give a specific date and then disappoint when I don't hit that, but it is important to me to finish that, and I hope that it will be done relatively soon. I think that's going to do it for me, though. I'll be around for my office hours shortly.